All right, guys, when we're talking about training, we're talking about, again, where we're going to provide more training and capabilities for our employee. It's for strategic training for their job, for their performance. We invest in training, again, to meet our organizational goals so that we can be more profitable. And of course, we want to be competitive in the industry and also global competitiveness as well to keep on top. When we're looking at this, we want to make sure that we are being competitive and we're trying to manage the knowledge that our employees have, not just the history of their jobs, but the history of their organizations that they've been with, as far as when they started, what they were with, and where they are now, and how we identify that knowledge as far as an experience to go ahead and maintain the employee's productivity and performance so that the organization can stay competitive as well based on the level of the capabilities of our employees. Now, we want to increase sales, for example. So we want to do this, then of course we need to make sure that we train the sales force how to do it, how to maintain. And then you're looking how that training is going to be designed. What are they going to need to do? How are they going to do this? If we're producing a new product line, well, then they need to make sure that they know about the product, um, what it does, who's it for, how much it costs, what it can be used for. Um, do we have simulations? Do we have training for that if we're trying to bring in a new product or sell a new product? So when we're looking at this, we're also looking at the intercultural cultural competitiveness training, meaning there's culture specific training. For example, if you want to do a new product, some of the things that I've been seeing lately, and it's not maybe a new product, but it may be the same product, but in a different language. So I've seen commercials where universities are and colleges are advertising for students, new recruits, right? But they're training their sales force in making sure that they know depending on which region they're going for. They're actually having these training and these commercials in Spanish. So then your sales force or your recruitment coaches need to know how to speak in this language, know what is being sold, how it's being sold. Um, you also need to make sure that the emotional side, the sensitivity of your employees are also there, meaning that they're trained on nonverbal cues, body language, especially when for supervisors uh, and other employees within their teams, so they can understand possible hostile work environment situations and or sexual harassment. We need to know all about that, so we need to be proactive instead of reactive. And then, of course, again, behavioral, making sure that people know how they're supposed to act at the job site all the time so that they can, one, get along with each other, and two, possibly also change their way of behavior outside of the job so that they can be that brand image for the organization. So we're looking at also the legal issues. We need to make sure that we train on safety, on EEO laws such as discrimination, sexual harassment, hostile work environment, um, safety training, um, driving, all of that. And we need to make sure that each employee is trained not only on their job, but the overall needs of the organization as well. So the types of training, again, as I was getting into, are your legally required industry specific regulations, going back to the airplane pilot, what he needs to have, basic skills, English, language, literacy, core mathematics if they need it, customer service, equipment operations, safety operations, quality procedures, product details, and then their soft skills, their interpersonal communication, their ethics, how to work with a team, how to avoid conflict, how to deal with conflict, how to approach problem solving skills, how to give feedback, And I like that they're not saying it constructive criticism, but it is feedback, how you're going to coach and mentor somebody else. And of course, understanding the different cultures that are underneath the umbrella of the organization. So this is an ADDIE model where we actually look at assessment, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. What that means is this. You spend your time on what you want to train and then how you're going to assess it to make sure that the training is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. You design it, you develop it, then you train, you implement it, then you evaluate it, and then guess what you do? You improve assessment again. This is the ADDIE model so that you're constantly making sure that your training is on point, not missing anything. And you get that feedback from the people that actually took the training. The other things that we have here are training in. Okay, so as we were talking about the training needs and assessment, so the other thing also that we need to determine is, do we really need a training? Who needs to be trained? Who will do the training? How will it be trained? Is it going to be on a web? Is it going to be face to face? Is it going to be with the operate of the machinery? Whatever we need to do. And then how are we going to make sure that that new knowledge or that new skill is going to be transferred to the job? Okay. Then of course we look at the types of training, the attitude, the knowledge, and the skill. We need to make sure that there's no gaps in between so that we can make sure that the training is going to, again, as I stated before, actually be valid and reliable as far as assessment training to make sure that it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And again, the design elements are making sure that we know our audience, the motivation to learn. How are they going to learn? What is their best way of learning? How they're going to transfer the knowledge over, how they're going to do that, and the supervisor support. And then are we going to be doing practice and feedback? We're going to be doing reinforcement and immediate confirmation as to the fact that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Like going back to the welder, they're trained on a new device. Is their weld the way it's supposed to be? Do they need more practice? And if they do, how are they going to get that practice? And then again, we're looking at training delivery methods, traditional classrooms, on the job training, job shadowing, cross training, training projects. Are we going to be doing web conferences? Is somebody going to come in and train us? Are we going to give them educational leave? Is it going to be blended training? Blended is, of course, where you do the classroom and the web as well. Are we going to have teleconferencing? What are we going to do? And of course, then there's also the web training online, simulations, and even games. Sometimes games that entertain and engage and train the employees as to what they're supposed to be doing. We need the levels of evaluation, the reaction, the feedback that you get immediately from those that you were training. Was it what they needed? Does it meet their needs? Do they want similar training like this, or do they want different kinds of training? How well the trainees learn the facts, ideas, and the concepts. Did their overall performance change because of the training? And then, of course, making sure that it's impacting the overall goal of the organization, which is to continue to remain competitive and make a profit. When we're looking at the costs, again, training is going to cost you. If HR does it or if an outside consultant does it, it's going to cost you because you're bringing these employees in for this training. That means they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not doing their jobs. However, if you need this training in order to increase productivity, increase the level of performance, then the cost related to the benefits of the training are going to be measured through the return on investment. This type of training reduced the accidents that we had on the floor. Benefit right there. No cost for medical, for workman's comp. This type of training produced the sales because our sales force knew about the product. Again, took them off of what they needed to do, trained them on the new product, and they're selling more. They're able to sell now because we taught them how to sell this product in a different language and answer those questions. Oh my gosh, great. Increase sales. So training, again, depending on what the training is, what the training is for, whether it's mandated, whether it's regulated, whether it's a certification, whether it's on a new product, whether it's on customer service, whatever the case may be, should always be toward the benefit of the employee, the employer, so that they can continue to make a profit. If you need anything, give me a call. I'll see you guys on the flip side.